Evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Uh, Thank you for connecting. Thank you for taking it upon yourself to be here. I don't know where you're connecting from, but I would appreciate if you can drop in the chat box where you're connecting from, so I can say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. I'm speaking to you from Canada, Ontario, to be precise. So let us know in the chat where you're connecting from. Where are you connecting from? Are you in the States? Are you in London? Are you in Spain? Are you in Europe? Are you in Nigeria? If you're in Nigeria, which state are you hearing us from? Let us in the chat room just quick. Let's do that quickly so that we're able to greet you properly as we kick off this day two of this wonderful series. It's a wonderful series because it is meant to transform your ideology. It is meant to transform the way you think, the way you see things, the way you perceive things. At the end of 30 days, my expectation for everyone who is consistent on this call is that you're coming out with a renewed person, a renewed mindset, a mind of hope that it can be done, it can be achieved, and you can do it, especially because life is just about you. And the reason why I said that is because there's nobody like you. And that is the reason why when everybody thumbprints, it's a different thumbprint. That alone should give you the mentality and the ideology that you're unique and you're special, you're different. There's no true one like you. Nobody else thinks like you think. Nobody else can do it the way you do it. So there's something unique about you. And that's the reason why I'm saying congratulate yourself for being here, and I hope that you're going to see this through the whole 30 days because it's packed, and there's something to learn, there's something to know. The 24th century literate are people who can unlearn and relearn, and not people who are stuck with what they know or what culture has taught them. And this is something we're going to talk about along the line. So once again, I appreciate you for if you're coming. If you're joining from Nigeria, if you're joining from all over the world. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Once again, thank you for connecting. Thank you for being here. You could have been somewhere else. Thank you. We don't take your time uh, with levity. We take your time as precious, and we appreciate everything that you stand for. My name is Adewale Omitiran. Like the gentleman rightly said, I have over a decade, going to 20 decades when it comes to strategy, growth, mindset, innovation, and disruption. So my assignment tonight is to teach you. I'm not here to motivate you. Uh, I'm here to probably inspire you, to make you understand that you can do better, you can do more, and you can achieve more. And that's the reason why you've been created. There's more to your existence. So I have close to 2 decades worth of experience when it comes to growth mindset shift. I'm an IT guru. I also an expert when it comes to real estate, when it comes to your why. Why are you going to be doing this? Why are you here today? So today it's a three-part series. I don't intend to keep you here more than 45 minutes because I know time is fast spent and people is work. It's a work day tomorrow and people got to go about their bread and all that. So I don't intend to keep you here more than 40 minutes. But one of the things I want to let you know is to get a pen and paper. I will try as much as possible not to talk too fast so that you can pick one or two things. And I want to tell someone here on the call today, everything I'm going to say today might not be for you, but make sure you take one, two, three things out of this. I might say so many things, and they might not practically apply to you at this point in time, but they could apply to you sometime in the future. So it's very important that you give me your listening ears and you pay rapt attention to every word that I teach. So my assignment here is to teach you today, and it's important that you pay attention to it because you would hear some new things, you will hear some old things, your mind will be refreshed. So it's important to pay rapt attention. I need you to get a pen and paper also, because you're going to be writing things you want to start doing and things you want to stop doing. In this journey of this 30 days of transforming your mind, becoming a better person, becoming a better salesperson, becoming your journey to becoming a millionaire. The few things you must understand as we go along this 30-day journey. It's all about becoming a better person at what you do, becoming an expert, becoming an SME at what you do. So it's a three-part series tonight. Like I said, I will try as much as possible to keep us here for about 40 to 45 minutes, because I understand the attention span of every human being is that far, 45 minutes. So the topic today is we're going to be talking about understanding your why, building a growth mindset, and defining your sales identity. Defining your sales identity. Identity. So defining your sales identity, understanding your why. That will be the part one. Then part two will be building a growth mindset, and part three will be defining your sales identity. The question I want to put here, I want you guys to go on the chat and tell me why you are here. Why are you here? Understanding your why. Why are you on this call? Go quickly on the chat. I want to know why you're here. Why you're why the reason why I'm here is because I'm passionate about teaching, because I'm passionate about value, because I'm passionate about knowledge, because I like to, I like people around me to get, you know, inspired. I like them to get improved in themselves, in life, in everything and everywhere they find themselves. So that is my why I'm on this call today. That is why I am speaking to you. So go on the chat, in the chat box. Tell me why you're here today. What is it that is moving you? Why did you make up your mind at 8 p.m. at night, or maybe it's 3:20 my time here in Canada? Why are you here? Quickly go into the chat. Let's know why. Why are you here? Let's start with the why. Why? Because a lot of times people do things for different reasons, either negative or positive. There's a gentleman that is in court right now in the United States of America, and the reason why he's in court was because a cop shot his son, and the next day when he went to see the footage, what happened was he went in the car, drove around, saw a policeman uh, directing traffic. And what happened was he ran the guy over and killed the guy. That is his why. He did that because of his son. Because his son. What is your own why? Why are you here today? A lot of times people do things because of family, because of friends, because of the children, because of their loved ones. Why? Why? That big three-letter word, why, WHY, is a big one, because everything begins and ends with a why. The human existence begins with a why. My lovely book, the Holy Bible, said that in the beginning the earth was without form and darkness, and the Bible says that God created the heaven and the earth. Why? Because there was darkness, no form, and that is the why. That is the why. It is not good for man to be alone. Then woman was created. That is the why. What is your own why? Why are you on this call today? Why do you think you need to be here? Go in the chat room and tell me why. One of my very good friends, Simon Snake, says start with a why. Everything you do in life, whether you want to be a better salesperson, a better husband, a better wife, a better child, a better um, friend, a better communicator, a better accountant, a better engineer, a better in everywhere and everything you do in life, you must always start with a why. And when I tell people, when I speak to people, that your why, if you're in for impact, if you're in for value, your why must definitely be a positive why. Why do you think you need to make money? Why do you think you need to survive? Why do you think you need to exercise? Why do you think you need to eat? What are the benefits? Because every why comes with some kind of benefit, either negative or positive. So there's always a consequence to our why. There's always a consequence to our why. And that was the reason why I asked you, what is your why? What is your why? Why are you on this call today? And because why is a very, very important, significant word in our lives. So as you're sitting down here on this call today, I want you to reflect on life. I want you to reflect on your business, your sales journey, your money journey, your money game. I want you to reflect on that and ask yourself why. Why? Let it sink in. I just want it to sink in. That's why I keep repeating it. Why? Why am I existing? Was I created? Why am I on this call? Why do I think I need this call? What is the importance of this call, this webinar, this 30 days journey? What is it to my life? Because you see, a lot of times, a lot of people go into seminars, they go into webinar, this year, 6 months down the line, there's another webinar and there's no change. There's, you go as you are and you come as you are. The same way you left is the same way you're going. So we're trying to do this 30 days to impact you so that at the end of the 30 days, you can say, these are the specific things that you gained from this 30 days journey. So what is your why? And the reason why I'm saying so is because your why gives purpose and directions to your action. Can I have my next slide, please? Your why should give you a sense of purpose and direction to your actions. It should give you a sense of purpose. Purpose meaning that what are you created for? Wherever you have found yourself today, why are you there? What are you supposed to achieve? What are you supposed to impact? Who are you supposed to impact? What are the steps? What are the direction that you're supposed to? One of my mentors, Ubon King, God bless his soul, used to say you must always set a target. Once you set a target, direction would appear. So when you have a very strong why, when your why is very concrete, your sense of direction, nothing can convince you to turn the other way if your why is strong. So your why gives you purpose. It gives you a reason to exist. It gives you a reason to be alive. It gives you a reason to seek that sale, to pursue that sale, to close that deal. That's the essence of your why, and gives you a direction of your actions, of your why. Has a why to live. Sorry, one sec. He who has a why to live can be almost anything anyhow, and that's the essence of the direction that I was talking about. Your why fuels motivation. It fuels motivation, especially during challenges. A lot of times we face challenges, and if your why is strong enough, that's what keeps you standing even during the times of trials and tribulation. Your why a lot. Let's take, for instance, let me give you an example of a man who is probably mentally tired, mentally not there, because things are not working out the way it should work out. But every time he comes home and looks at his family, every time he comes home and he looks at his family, he just realizes that he just got to keep going. So the next day, instead of just sleeping in bed and wallowing in pain, sorrow, anger, and saying, you know what, things are not working fine, because of his family, because of his children, because of his wife, he gets up every morning and keeps on going. That is his why. That is the reason why he gets up. He gets the drive from his family. So your why helps you to align your goals with your vision and your values. It helps you to make better decisions. When you have a strong why, your goals would align with your values. You would not see something evil, something negative, and say, because this thing is not working the way it should work, then you join them. Because there's a saying that says, you join them, is either you if you can't join, if you can't beat them, then you join them. But if you have a strong why, it would allow your goals to align with your values. Your why helps you make better decisions, better decisions. And that's why I said, he who has a why to live can be almost anything. Your why should be strong. So if you don't take anything out of this class today, which I believe you would take, I want you to have a very strong why at the end of 30 days. And I'm happy that this topic is coming at the beginning of this 30 days, because when you come out of this room today, it gives you a reason to sit down and ask yourself that one question. Why? Why am I doing what I'm doing? What is the important thing? What is the most important thing for me? And why am I here? And for your why to really move you into perspective, there are four things I've penned down here. Number one is you must reflect on your passion. You must ask yourself certain questions. You reflect on your passion. What moves you? What drives you? What is it that if you if they wake you up in the middle of the night, you would do it with so much joy, with so much love in your heart, even when you don't get paid? What is it that moves you? What is that passion? What is that drive? You must ask yourself, what activities makes you feel alive? What are the things that brightens your face? What are the things that brightens your face? Can you hear me? Oh,
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. I just wanted to make sure I'm speaking to people. So what do you naturally gravitate towards in your free time? What causes do you feel strongly about? What is that cause that you stand for, that you feel strongly about? Your why should take you to a journey whereby you explore your strengths. Your strengths. This is about self-identity. What are you good at? What do you know how to seamlessly do without anybody complaining? Excellently, professionally. Look, you know what? I tell people you don't have to be perfect because we're human beings, and there's some form of imperfection, but you just have to. It is very important that when you do things, your why should drive you to a point whereby you do things perfectly. You close that sales perfectly. You write that deal perfectly. You know, that deed of assignment, you write it perfectly. When you're talking to your clients, you talk to them sorry, with excellence and in a professional way. When you're at the office, you're very professional in your countenance, in the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, the way you dress. You do it professionally, you do it excellently. That is the essence of your why. That is the essence of your why. Do people often ask you for help? Self identity. See, when you start to do things excellently, when you start to do things professionally, people begin to gravitate you because you're giving some kind of value to them. So your why should drive you to a point whereby your self identity is strong. Your self identity is very strong. You must look at your life stories. You must examine your life stories. Where are you coming from? Where are you right now? And where are you going? So just a quick story, just a back quick story. In 1996, because my parents schooled in Canada, and but in 1996, my dad looked at the situation of the country and said, you know what, I think it's time to go back to Canada and all that. Even though they kept their jobs and all that. So in 2003, we came back to Canada, and that was my dad's why, for his family to live better, for his family to do better. He's late right now, God bless his soul. Every time I lay down my head, I keep blessing his soul because he made the right decision at that time. He looked at his story, he looked at himself, he looked at his existence, he looked at his family, and he said, this should be my why. So often your why is hidden in your experiences. Your why is hidden in your experiences. Your why is often tied to the problems you deeply care about, the ones you want to solve. The ones you want to solve. Thomas Edison looked at it and said, "We can't. No, we can't. We can't always. We can't be in darkness. We can't always be on lantern. How do we? How do we create the bulb? How do we do? He failed so many times. I know we've heard the story. For those of us who study science, the Wright brothers said, you know what, we can't just always be on the camel or drive all the way. I'm just paraphrasing now. If we want to go from point A to point B, there should be there should be something that can lift us up in the air where we don't have to sit in traffic. That's where the law of lift came in. That was the why. That was the driving force for them. So your why is often or should be tied to the problems you feel in your heart, your desire in your heart that you have to solve, that you have to solve. So quickly, like I said, I'm not going to keep us here. I have a lot of things I can say, but I don't want to keep us here too long. Let's go to part two: building a growth mindset. Building a growth mindset, which is one of my areas of specialty. Maybe you're going through stuff today. Maybe things are not working right. But I can tell you something, that the power of the mind is stronger than you think. If you can think it, you can conceive it, you can have it. You can write that down. If you can think it, you can conceive it, and you can have it. That is the power of the mind. But before you can have it, the first level of growth is self awareness. The first level of growth, if you're going to grow in life, in your sales pattern, in your sales life, in your family, the journey of destiny, in the journey of vision, you have to renew your mind. And like I said, I always go back to my favorite book. It says we should renew our mind daily. There's a reason why that book says you should renew your mind daily, because culture has set in, because circumstances are set in, because life has set in. There's a lot of negativity all around us. You know, culture has shaped our lives, our uncles, because everybody was born blank. We were all born black. But over time, over the years, TV, celebrities, influencers, daddy, mommy, uncle, brothers, sisters, teachers, they've shaped our lives. So I can boldly tell you the life that you're probably living right now is not yours. It's an accumulative of what series and different people have put in you, have taught you, and have focused your mentality and your ideology towards. And that is why that book says we need to renew our mind daily, because you need to go on the journey of self identity. You need to go on a journey of self identity. You need to rediscover yourself. And remember, I said the 21st century person that wants to be great is somebody that can unlearn and relearn and keep unlearning and keep relearning, because life is evolving. If somebody had told you 20 years ago that what we're doing right now, I can do it just sitting at the airport doing it, you probably say is a lie, because you needed a whole room to set up your desktop, your computer, your internet, and all that, your fax machine, your phone. You had to connect through your phone to get to the internet. I don't know if anybody remember those times. If you can remember those, I put in the chat room, say I do, I do, I do, I do. Just put in the chat room, say I do, I do. So that's so if somebody had told you 20 years ago that with just a phone, you can fax, you can do video calling. I mean, many years ago, I remember when my older brother left for the United States, my dad used to wake me up very early in the morning, very early in the morning, 4 a.m. We had to drive all the way to Nitel. If for those of us who are in Nigeria, who live in Lagos, you know what I'm talking about, just to call him. We had to drive all the way from Festac to Nitel just to call my older brother in the US. But today, just at the touch of a dial, we can talk to each other. So culture has shaped in, technology has shaped in, all these things coming together is what's shaping our lives, is what's, but one of the things I can tell you today is that these things, these phones, these gadgets, this technology, it is somebody who sits down and determine the way life would go. It is some people, some group of people who sits down to determine this is the next thing we need to give them. And it's because they keep on renewing their mind. One of my mentors says, there's 0 to 1. That means there's nothing to one, and there's one to infinity. So where do you want to belong? Do you want to belong where ideology lives, among people who just sit down, create ideas in their head? Or you want to be among the numbers who say, okay, you know what, we're just going to use whatever the people from the 0 to 1 are implementing. So it is your choice. And this comes from a place of mind growth. It comes from a place of renewing your mind. And that is why I said the first level of growth ever is self-awareness. You need to be able to understand where you're coming from. You need to be able to understand where you are right now. And you need to be able to understand where you actually want to be. And remember at the beginning of this conversation, I talked about at the end of this 30 days, if you sit down and you don't get anything from it, then you just need to go back to zero. I'm sorry to say, you just need to go back because a lot of informations are coming your way, a lot of words are coming your way, and that's why I say when I'm talking to you, because I'm going to take another session, I think you need to write down what you need to start doing and what you need to stop doing. So the first level of growth is self-awareness. Where am I right now? Where do I want to be? Where am I going? How is it against where I'm coming from? Is that my why? Is that the reason why I want to push more? And all these things begins from the mind. It begins from the mind. Remember I said if you can think it, you will conceive it and you can have it. So your mind is a place where you design. It's like a factory with my mind. You take your mind to a factory, a car factory, a car manufacturer. You know, that is where they put the body, they put the tires, they put the engine, put all these components together before you start driving it on the road. That's what the mind does. That's you create in your mind, you see it in your mind, you picture it in your mind, and you begin to speak it before you have it. Listen, yeah, every time in life, every time and everywhere you find in yourself in life, you've been there twice in your mind and where you are. So if you're a good salesperson, if you want to be a doctor, take for instance somebody who studied medicine or studied engineering. You must have thought about it in your mind before you became a doctor. So in life, you're always in a place twice. First in your mind, and secondly in the particular place what you have thought about. So it all begins in your mind. The mind plays a critical role in achieving goals because it shapes how you perceive challenges, how you handle setbacks, and maintain motivation. And here I'm going to give you few keys, few things, reason why your mind matters. Why your mind. There are two sets of people in life. You have people who have the fixed mindset, and you have the people who have the growth mindset. Some people have the fixed mindset, some people have the growth mindset. So fixed mindset are those people that believe that abilities, intelligence, and talents and are unchangeable. There are people with fixed mindset. These people often avoid challenges, they give up easily. For people, so if you're on this call today and you're one of those that says, this is the way it is, this is the way it has always been, and this is the way it would always be. Remember, always, if you're people like that, remember the story of that I said 20 years ago. If somebody had told you that 20 years from now that you'll be doing a lot of things just at the touch of your smartphone, of a phone, nobody would believe it, right? So for people who have a fixed mindset, always carry that mentality that 20 years ago, we couldn't believe that we could fax through a phone, we could do a video call through a phone, we could just at the touch of a dial. 20 years ago, if you wanted to go visit your uncle, take for instance you're in Nigeria and you're in Lagos and you wanted to go see your uncle who lives in Osun State or Ogun State, um there's every possibility that you will miss him because by the time you leave Lagos and you get to Ogun State, they'll probably tell you, oh, he just left. But today, in this present age, as we evolve with technology and all that, you could place a call to your uncle and say, Uncle, I'm thinking of leaving Lagos in the next 1 hour and I'm coming to see you. And he'll say, no, schedule another day because, so those people who have the fixed mindset, they give up easily. They avoid challenges and they view effort as fruitless if they don't succeed quickly. But those people who have the growth mindset, they believe that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication. So if you're on this call today, if you're sitting in this room today, I need you to begin to think and change your mindset. Remember, I said renew your mind daily. And how do you renew your mind? You need to renew your mind through reading, through what you're doing right now, being in the right room, listening to the right things. So begin to see yourself as someone with a growth mindset, somebody who is dedicated, who can put effort in, who wants to learn, who wants to push, who is saying, I'm going to change the narrative. I'm not just going to be stuck because of culture. I'm not going to be stuck because this is the way my dad did it, and that is the way I need to do it, and that is the way it should be done. I always tell um, my mentees, I tell people around me, I said, the fact that you're the one thinking about it, the fact that you are the one saying it, the fact that that idea is coming from you does not necessarily mean it is the truth or is the right idea. So for people who think that because I'm the one thinking it, then it has to be that way, those are people with the fixed mindset. But like I said, if you begin to develop a growth mindset, and these are people, you begin to see yourself as people with the abilities and the intelligence that you can develop through dedication, through effort, through learning. You must embrace challenges. You must persist. You must push through obstacles. You must put in the work. You must put in the effort. You must be resilient. Resilience is very important for folks who who want to have the growth mindset. So the people who have the growth mindset, they believe that abilities can be developed through effort. You help individuals, your clients, everybody around you sees the value. You help them bounce back. They see the value when you speak to them. They understand and they see the value. They see the reason why they need to listen to you, why they need to do what you're asking them to do. You help them come back from failures with a growth mindset. You need to motivate. You motivate yourself. You motivate people. You're persistent. You stay focused. It helps you stay focused. Self-belief, confidence, not pride. Self-belief. You have confidence in your ability to improve and to succeed, to encourage people to take action and embrace challenges instead of avoiding them. Not pride. Pride comes before the fall. Remember that. Then you must be able to adapt. You must be able to adapt. You must be able to, it is very important. If you're going to have a growth mindset, you must be able, there's a lot I can talk to you about the mindset. I can teach you straight 6 hours about the mindset, the mind, the power of the mind. So, but because of time, I'm just going to jump to part 3. So remember what I've said. The growth mindset is a mindset that is intelligent, that wants to learn, dedicated, that wants to put in effort, that wants to push against every obstacle. Don't be stuck in your mindset. People that are stuck in their mindset are people who live life backwards. Remember that I said 20 years ago, if you wanted to fax, if you wanted to go on the internet, if you wanted to um, make a phone call, you need a whole home office. Now you can do it anytime, anywhere. So that alone should begin to change your mindset that look, life is evolving, things are changing. You need to begin to adapt. You need to be resilient, be motivated, focused, have confidence. Confidence when you're speaking. And when you're speaking, part of having a growth mindset is you must know your product. I'm going to talk about that in part 3 now, which I'm moving into, which is defining your sales identity. So if you look at it, defining your sales identity must align with your growth mindset, must align with your purpose, must align with your why. If your why is not strong, then your sales identity is faulty. If you don't have a growth mindset, your sales identity is faulty. Your sales identity is an essential, it is an essential part of becoming a successful salesman. Let's talk about sales now briefly, then we're going to round up. I'll recap. If you have questions, then we'll round up. Your sales identity is an essential part of becoming a successful person. Now, when I mean salesperson, um, It doesn't necessarily mean you're selling a land or you're selling a property. You can be selling yourself. You can be selling your personality. You can be selling your communication. But you must understand your identity. Your sales identity is not just about tactics you use. It's not just about gimmicks. It's not a chess game. It's not a draft game. It's not Ayo, like you guys we call it. But the persona you adopt is who you become. So identity is who you become. Now add sales to it, your pattern, because there's different sales pattern, which I'm going to run you through quickly. And the values you align with and the approach you take to engage with prospects. Now, because this pattern is working for party A, does not necessarily mean it work for you. Take for instance, I'm a sanguine. I don't know if you guys understand the cholerics, the sanguine. Maybe you need to search it out. I'm a sanguine, and my very good friend Mike, Dr. Mike Adeyemi, is a choleric to the core. So his sales pattern will be different from my sales pattern because my personality is different from his personality. I'm a sanguine. I can walk into a place and change the whole place, make it lively. But my friend, my brother, my covenant brother, Dr. Mike Adeyemi, he's a choleric. So his pattern I can't adopt his pattern. So the approach you take to engage prospects, building a strong and authentic sales identity can help you to build rapport, stand out in competitive markets, and establish trust with your clients. Establish trust with your clients. I'm just going to run through these 7 things and we'll take it and we'll round up from there. Understanding sales identity. Your sales identity is a combination of a lot of things. Number one, your sales style. How do you approach clients? How do you approach selling? Do you consult? Are you a consultative person or transactional, or are you a solution oriented person? So those are things you want to begin to consider. You need to consider your personality, values and your belief, the principles and the belief you stand by in your sales process. Are you transparent? Are you value first? I always tell my mentees who are into selling, I say, when you're talking to a client, 2 things. When you're talking to a client, let let them see the value in what you want to sell them. When people see the value that that you're bringing to the table, they will pay anything. People are looking. I told one of my mentees, she started an HR company, and I said, you know what? People are ready to pay people just to listen to them, just to listen. But you must have the right words. Are you transparent? Are you customer first mindset? Do you have a customer first mindset, or is your stomach infrastructure first? I just want to grab. I just want to grab. I just want to take it. Or you're bringing value first. You're showing the customer the value first. Listen, you need to buy this land. The reason why you need to buy this land, especially if in Nigeria, is because when you buy this land, Nigeria is the only place where you get 200% return on your investment. And the keywords you need to use, I mean, that's a story for another day. So when you're talking to a customer, you don't want to talk to a customer like you're locking them in a commitment. You're talking to a customer in such a manner, in such a way that you're making them see reasons that if they miss out on this deal, it is gone. Nobody wants commitment. As human beings, we run away from commitment. So how do you bring this value to the table? Your personal brand. Like I remember in the beginning, I said the way you comport yourself, the way you talk to people, the way you address yourself, the way you dress is very important. Your personal brand, the way people will perceive you when you go into a client's office or when you're talking to a client. Doesn't matter how low they are, how it doesn't matter at what level that they are at that particular time when you're talking to them. Today you could be talking to a billionaire. Tomorrow you could be talking to a thousandaire. But let me tell you something, right? As a salesperson, you can't discount anybody. You can't discount anybody. Today's billionaire was once a thousandaire. There was one time, there was a time in life that there was no millionaire. So everything started from hundredaire, thousandaire, millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, and that's the way it's going now. So your skills and your strengths, what unique skill and strength are you bringing to the table? Relationship building, product knowledge, negotiation skills. How well can you negotiate, or you just give up? Do you know the product? How much do you know the product that you're bringing, that you're selling? Do you build relationships, or you burn bridges? Number two, why define your sales identity? Why does it even matter? Because you need clarity and consistency. Knowing your sales identity, that's what allows you to approach every sales situation with confidence. It's the reason why sales identity matters, because of the confidence, because of consistency. A very clear sales identity will ensure that your actions align with the values. Remember, we spoke about that in the beginning. Building trust, standing out in a crowded market. That is why your sales identity is very important, because you need to stand out. You want to stand out. I tell people, when because, like I said in the beginning, I have almost 2 decades worth of when it comes to strategy, innovation, and disruption. I tell people, never focus on competition, because when you focus on competition, what you do is you benchmark yourself. And let me tell you something, there's always a better way to do things in life. There's always a better way to do things in life. So when you focus on competition, you're benchmarking yourself. But what do you need to do? You need to focus on strategy. You need to focus on innovation. You need to focus on a better way to do what you're doing. And that's the best way to take sales. How do I better what I'm doing? So what are the components? Components of a strong sales identity: self-awareness, understanding your strength and your weakness. Never focus on your weakness, focus on your strength. Because the way the universe is created, when you focus more on your strength, people that are better when it comes to your weakness, they will align with you. But when you focus on your weakness, you continue to struggle. So never focus on your strength. Focus on your strength. Um, self-awareness, self-awareness is very important. Your unique value proposition is always very important. Very, very important. It makes you different. Your UVP, right? You can write that down. Your UVP, your unique value proposition, is very important. That's what makes you different. It could be your approach, it could be your communication skill or style, your expertise. You must define it. Define it. Your mindset. You must be authentic. You must be authentic. Um, let me run through the remaining three, then we'll just ask questions. It's almost 9 p.m. over there. What are the steps to identify your sales identity? You must look at your current sales approach, align it with your values and your strength, understand your target audience. Who are your target audience? What is your niche? Even within your target audience, you must identify your ideal customers. You need to identify who are your ideal customers. Some people can talk to older people, some people can convince younger people. We're different, like I said. Create value proposition. What is the value? When you're going to customers, don't talk about the money first. Talk about the value, the reason why this product is, they need it. Develop a sales process that reflects your identity. Create a sales process that matches your style. Don't talk like you remember I said my wonderful covenant brother is choleric. I'm sanguine. I if I want to approach somebody to sell now, I will go with my own style because I'm comfortable in my own skin. So create a process around your values, around your own style, and always seek feedback. Feedback is very important. As a salesperson, always seek feedback, especially from mentors and colleagues that you know they're true to the game. Key sales personnel, um, you know, that's very straightforward. There are some people who are, we've spoken about it, people who are relational, people who are just, they just, all they have in their head is to be consultants. They are transactional people. You must align your sales identity with company culture, your company's culture. So everyone on this call, I don't know if you with Realtormax, but everywhere you find yourself, or I mean, if you're not even to real estate, wherever you find yourself, everywhere has a culture. Everywhere has a culture. So you must align your sales identity with the culture of your company. As I'm rounding up, number 7 is ongoing development of your sales identity. You have to keep learning. You have to keep learning. People who don't learn are the people who are dead. People who don't read are the people who are dead. You got to keep learning. And the reason why you have to keep learning is because there's a better way of doing things. There's a better way of selling. There's a better way of singing. There's a better way of doing accounting. There's a better way of doing HR. There's a better way of being a director. There's a better way of being a CEO. There's a better way of being a doctor. There's a better way of being an engineer. There's always going to be a better way of doing everything that you're doing. So always seek knowledge. Don't be static. Don't be set in your ways. Don't be concrete. Be flexible. And over time, you stay curious, you experiment, you adapt. You stay curious. Why is this working? Question things. Then you experiment. Then you adapt. You question things, you experiment, then you adapt. Thank you so much, everyone. That's my time. If you have any questions, I'm open for questions now as we bring this wonderful session to a close. Thank you, guys.